Welcome everyone and welcome Sébastien. Regulatory reporting has grown far beyond compliance exercise, with increasing complexity, tighter deadlines, and new technologies finally reaching maturity. Banks are at a real turning point. So to unpack what is changing and what is coming next, I am joined by Sébastien Polèse, General Manager for Reporting and Risk at SPS, to look at how institutions can rethink regulatory reporting from data foundations to long-term value. So thank you, Sébastien, for being with us and sharing your time.
Thanks, Caroline. Thank you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about regulatory reporting.
So let's dive right in with the first question. Regulatory reporting has expanded massively in scope and complexity. So from your perspective, what is the biggest structural shift that financial institutions need to understand as we enter 2026?
There are a lot of ones, but if I had just to point out one and short term for 26, it would be the time to comply. To comply now is very structural and very short term to be able to deliver on time very quickly, but also on quality. With something which is brand new, started last year, about ad hoc reporting. So we all know about the standard reports from EBA, from ECB, from national central banks, but now these regulators are asking in a 1 week, 2 weeks, or maybe sometimes some days delay, some ad hoc request banks have to answer, and they have, of course, to be ready to get the right data, structured and qualified data to answer to these precise requests.
Banks are now expected to handle unprecedented data volumes and faster turnaround cycles. How should they rethink their data foundations to stay ahead of what is coming?
To me, data is the key point for regulatory reporting. Actually, there is nothing without data. And data has been considered in the past as something quite siloed. So data requested from one report, another data for another report. And there was a study from the Banque de France saying that the same data is reporting in an average of 11 times, but different ways. And it's very complex to structure it and to come into quality of this data once it's maybe in 11, 10, 12 reports different. So the challenge for the banks is to unsilo this data, to build a common layer that reflects and modelize the activity of the bank. And once it's done, they will be able to handle and to master the quality and the famous time to comply I was talking about before.
So we have reached a moment where cloud automation and AI are finally mature enough to make a difference. How will they transform regulatory reporting by 2030?
I think the change of mindset in regulatory reporting is to move from being reactive to being proactive. So far, they had some requests they have to answer on time. In the future, thanks to the technology, they will be able to anticipate the changes, to rely on this common data layer to be able to take strong decisions on this. Technology for this is key to be able to with elasticity, to be flexible, to get all this processing capability to do this. And AI is also key to master and to interpret all this data, to learn from the previous regulatory reports, also to propose some orientations on being able to report the data.
There's a growing idea that regulatory data can become a competitive asset. How can institutions shift from reporting to comply to reporting to gain insights?
That's a very good question and exactly linked to what I said before. Once this is done, once you can rely on the technology to completely master your data and you've built this common unsiloed data layer, you have a gold mine of all the activity of your bank at the same place, qualified by the institutions, by the regulators. So it's really good data. 360 information about your activity, your clients, and based on this, you can take strategic decisions. So you can say that if you want to invest, for instance, for a category of customers on green ratio, on green assets, for instance, you can select this one because you know they've taken some choices about having some credits or having some activity on this, and then you can focus better and take really strategic decisions based on this. So to me, that's the best place with all the data, qualified data, to take your decision. So that will be a real trigger to improve and to accelerate the business.
If you imagine the regulatory reporting function in 2030, what does a best-in-class solution look like, and what should banks start doing now to get there?
So in the coming years, best-in-class solution obviously is a tech one, is a SaaS one. First, because SaaS is a really good candidate for regulatory reporting. In this domain, you do not have to have 100% of the time all processing capability. So a tech solution is able to scale, to be elastic, and to provide this elasticity, to benefit at the right time the processing capability to process your regulatory reporting. So that's very important to master your cost. There is a really important topic about mastering the cost that will improve due to this growing also number of data, volume of data, moving to granular reporting. So that's very important to have this best-in-class tech SaaS solution. And once you have it, you will be able to do something very strong, to be able to be real-time. Once you are real-time, you are able to modelize, to stress test also your models, and to support your business ambition. Okay, that's very important. And in addition to that, of course, and obviously there is AI, and AI will also help to better understand the evolution of your model, to be proactive into proposing also new capability to improve your business. That's very important. The AI doesn't work without data, and here you have the bunch of all data of your bank. So that's very important and strategical for the activity of our customers in coming years.
Thank you for that insight. That will be useful. And thank you for sharing your insights, being with us, and making that complex subject crystal clear.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity again.